Bodies of women and children found days after they were kidnapped by armed Kuki assailants. Body deposited at Silchar Medical College and Hospital in Assam for post-mortem. Irate people stormed residences of several MLAs and ministers, vandalizing and setting fire to their properties, condemning failure to rescue 6 women and children abducted by armed militants. Abduction and killing of innocent women and children by armed Kuki militants in Jiribam sparked widespread protests across Manipur. Protesters blocked road, women vendors ceased work and take out protests. Curfew imposed until further notice and internet ban for at least 2 days in most districts of Manipur amidst escalating violence. Armed Kuki assailants launched fresh bomb and bullet attacks on the Maitai villages of Uyok and Irengbam in Laimaram from the Tingkai Kuno in Laimaram Hill Range. No report of any casualties. And Directorate of Information and Public Relations Manipur observed National Press Day 2024. A journalist received State Journalist Award 2024. Hello and welcome to Impact News. You're watching Primetime English Bulletin. I'm Colonel Sambanduram, bringing you the top stories and latest news at this hour. Now, the news in details. 6 bodies of women and children have been deposited at Silchar Medical College and Hospital in Assam for post-mortem. 3 bodies out of the 6 women and children abducted by armed Kuki militants from the Jakuradhor in Jiribam district were found floating on the Jiri River last evening. Their bodies were brought to the hospital last night itself, while 3 more bodies were deposited today. Official confirmation of identities of the late 3 bodies are yet to be disclosed officially. Security has been tightened since last night while the bodies were brought into the hospital, forensic department and autopsy block department. The deceased include 8-month-old Langamba, 8-year-old T. Thajumanbi and 31-year-old T. Thoibi. Assam police and commandos were deployed at the hospital to maintain law and order. On the other hand, Kuki Mar people, spearheaded by community leader, also gathered near the hospital autopsy department to collect the 10 bodies of armed Kuki militants killed by CRPF personnel as the militants attacked the CRPF camp in Jiribam on November 11. Security personnel have fortified both the hospital campus and its surroundings to prevent any clash. Meanwhile, Jiribam district remained tense as local groups call for a 48-hour general strike in protest. Meanwhile, family members of the victims killed by Kuki assailants today verified the 3 bodies, including 2 children, kept at Silchar Medical College and Hospital for post-mortem. Family members visited the hospital and verified the 3 bodies. Following the verification, enraged locals stormed Jiribam District Bungalow. Jiribam DC Bungalow. Impact News bring you a special report. Ten bodies of armed Kuki men were officially handed over to Manipur police by Silchar Medical College and Hospital and the Kasar police today. The bodies were taken to Manipur and from there airlifted to Churachandpur district. ITLF and the Kuki Zoo Council reportedly refused to take their bodies for performing their last rite as they were denied post-mortem report. Hence, the bodies are kept at Churachandpur District Hospital morgue. Impact News source said the 10 bodies were airlifted by a military helicopter around 2:45 p.m. It landed at Khuga helipad. From there, the bodies were transported under tight security arrangement. It is also reported that Kuki joint students, Kuki Zoo leaders and various civil society organization leaders held an emergency meeting to declare further course of action. Authorities are yet to issue an official statement regarding identities of the deceased militants killed by CRPF personnel as they attack the security personnel at their camp in Jiribam district. Irate people today stormed the residences of several MLAs and ministers, vandalizing and set fire to their properties, including vehicles, in wake of the news of killing of 6 civilians, including children, by Kuki Mar militants. Large mob gathered at the residence of Kaisamthong MLA Sampam Nishikanta and demanded a meeting with the MLA. The MLA did not show up, and the enraged mob damaged several structures in front of his residence. Protesters also stormed the residence of Sagolband MLA RK Imo and also demanded a meeting with the MLA. Later, security stationed at the MLA's residence allowed few protesters to enter inside the residence accompanied by security, but the MLA was out of station and the enraged public forced the gate opened and vandalized several items, including several items inside his residence. The protesters torched several items. A team from Manipur Fire Service arrived at the spot and doused the fire. People also spawned storms and ransacked residents of Patsoi MLA Sapam Kunjikishwar alias Keba and Uripok MLA KH Raghumani today, protesting the brutal murder of 6 Meitei civilians by Kuki militants. People stormed MLA Keba's house in Tera Bazaar. They met with the MLA and told him to resign. Subsequently, protesters destroyed properties at the residence. People set blast 1 car and at least 5 two-wheelers that were parked in the courtyard. Protesters also stormed the residence of MLA KH Raghumani in Uripok, Kabrabam Lekai, and damaged several properties at the MLA's residence. Irate locals also stormed the residence of Health Minister Dr. Sapam Ranjan at Lumfel Sanakaitel today, expressing outrage over the recent killing of innocent women and children from Jiribam. Protesters blamed the government for its failure to prevent such incidents amidst the ongoing unrest in the state.
as a cabinet minister, MLA resign.
Tensioned, groomed valley areas in Manipur following the abduction and brutal murder of 6 Meitei civilians, including 3 children from Jiribam's Jakurathor by armed Kuki Mar militants. Angered and deeply saddened by the incident, people of Valley district took out widespread agitation. Agitation broke out in various parts of Manipur, particularly in Imphal today. Following the recovery of bodies of women and children who have been abducted by armed Kuki groups in Jiribam district, protesters took to the street, burning tires and condemning state leaders for failing to resolve the conflict and secure the safe return of the abducted civilians. The situation led to a significant shutdown across various places. Markets, commercial hubs, educational institutions, including schools and colleges, private offices and banks remained closed. Streets appeared deserted with only a few passenger vehicles on the road as tension ran high. The government has ramped up security measures, deploying additional personnel at strategic locations as the situation continues to remain volatile. The protest reflects a growing frustration among the public, calling for accountability and swift action from the state authorities to address the humanitarian crisis. Women vendors of Quairamban market carry out agitation condemning the brutal killing of Meitei hostages, including children, by Kuki militants. Police blocked the agitators. However, the women folk blocked the barricades and advanced towards the chief minister's bungalow and were again stopped near the Kangla Western Gate. After talking with the police, a few representatives of the women folk were allowed to meet with chief minister. After meeting with the chief minister, the women agitators returned to the Imakait Health Complex and carried out a public meeting. Speaking in this regard, the agitating women remarked that the present situation calls for taking up arms and fight. They also questioned whether the remark made by Chief Minister that he will not tolerate when the public are attacked or killed was merely lip service. They also commented the silence of Chief Minister in relation to abduction and killing of 6 civilians, including children, by Kuki militants. They also commented that armed miscreants are roaming scot-free into the hill while there is restriction and laws in the valley, maintaining that the law should not apply in the valley areas if there is no law in the hills.
Hanuruba Koichu, Nongmai Baraga Liba, Nagi states La Aduna, Nongmai Barasi had a choice by the Aneba Aduna Maraboraga, Nasinga Sima, Sarana, I Koigi Emele, Yakasia, Siam Tuna Tumjero, Aduga, Atuba Mataba, Madam Tadana Punching, Puntadana, Wari, Lobiraga, Manipura Secondana Bohona Minarsi, Chenda Romena, Ukila Loba Signadi, Singana Amata, the Namarula Malay, Sikarigino Habo Hangsa, #1 voice, the Gomenamadi, Center Gomenamasi and Chabiga the Bani, Nongmai Katana, and Bakami Halaga. Siriba jaga tu dalam coming operation toba kapa iba jaga na pri thaba ache ya government kari policy torga koi state government da sinabano state government madu ki reply answer question sige answer lauraga koi miyam da answer jiga da bani.
Irate people burned down tires and placed tree branches and bamboos on road in New Chekon, Soibam Laikai, Nongmai Bung, Kongba, Iril Bung, Kairao Bitra, Lamlong and Kurai in Imphal. A large number of people came out and blocked Asian Highway number 2 at Yumnam Laikai and Singjumai against the abduction and killing of women and children in Jiribam district. People of Thoubal district also took out agitation condemning the killing of innocent women and children. Women vendors of Thoubal Kaithil came out onto the street and took out protests since 9 m.m. Shops were closed and roads were deserted looks. Thoubal Apunba Looped Publicity Secretary Sanjenbamd Amarjeet condemns the state governments for failing to resolve Manipur crisis. Irate people of Nauria, Pakhang, Lakpa along with local MLA KB took out a protest rally towards Chief Minister's bungalow around 6 p.m. However, they were stopped by security forces at Kesampa Junction, resulting in a short scuffle between the police and protesters. Police fired several rounds of tear gas shells to disperse the protesters. Security personnel to rescue MLA KB and transported her to safety. Students of Sinai Institute of Medical Sciences Nursing topped Makha Laikai took out protests over prevailing violent situation in the state. During the protest rally, students displayed placards demanding peace, wiped out of Kuki Zone narco-terrorists, end of violence against women and children, and protection of Manipur's territorial integrity. Ziri United Committee ZUC intensifies its 48-hour general strike in Jiribam following recovery of bodies of innocent women and children. JUC demands official declaration of Kuki militants as terrorists within the next 24 hours. JUC convener H. Priyananda details that the women were physically assaulted, gang raped and then murdered in an appalling display of brutality. He described the action as barbaric and inhuman.
Laikai Mara Paibigi Sindausina Amuka Hena Hyber General Strike Chogot Piduna Amuka Hen Kanba General Strike Ma Hibudu Ohensi Hyber Wapamachisu Jeusigi Magade Tamjage Lorena Marang Numidang Official Cabinet Na Laukiba Warep Amagi Matungina Kuki Kogi Militant Sing Todo the Chenariba Militant Sing Bo Terrorist Nihaina 24-hour Gi Manunda Lautokadavani.
District Magistrate of Imphal East, Imphal West, Vishnupur and Thoubal district imposed total curfew in the district with immediate effect in the wake of prevailing law and order situation. Residents are instructed to remain indoor until further order. Exemption from the curfew are granted to individuals involved in essential services including health, public utilities, PHED and MSPDCL, education department staff, municipal council employees, media personnel and ATM cash filling teams. Authorities have urged the public to comply with the order to ensure safety and maintain peace. Manipur government has suspended internet and mobile data services in several districts including Imphal West, Imphal East, citing concern over the misuse of social media to spread hate messages and incite violence. Effective from 5:15 p.m. today, the suspension will last 2 days under public safety rules. Exemptions have been granted to government offices using lease-lined and specific FTTH connections, subject to approval. Officials warns of legal action against violation, emphasizing the move is necessary to curb rumors and maintain public order. Meanwhile, the armed Kuki assailant launched fresh attack on the Meitei villages of Uyok and Irengbam in Leimaram from the Tingkai Kuno in Leimaram Hill Range today. The attack, in which Kuki assailants launched bombs and rained bullets, started at around 11 a.m. As per a report received from the sport, Kuki militants fired around 6 bombs at Uyuk Leimaram. Afterward, the assailants rained bullets upon civilian area till 12:30 p.m. Similarly, the militants also carried out attack at Irengbam starting a little afternoon. People who were working in the field ran to safety, and several people felt unconscious from fright. B Company, 8 Battalion CRPF stationed in the areas also retaliated to the attack and fired several rounds towards the Kuki assailants. Later, a team of Vishnupur District Police led by Additional SP Law and Order Premjit Yumnand and SDP of Vishnupur Laishram Kogend arrived at the spot and safely transported the stranded field workers. And PP National, the Vice President Yumnam Joy Kumar questioned state and central governments for failing to take action against Kuki armed groups for violating suspension of Operation Ground Rule, who are responsible for abduction and killing of innocent women and children in Jodhpur district. Former UNLF Chairman R.K. Meghand criticized the state governments for failing to address the ongoing crisis in Manipur, stating the state is in quote-unquote total anarchy. Addressing the media at his Sagolban residence today, Meghand urged the people to raise a united democratic voice against the central government to resolve the crisis. He condemned the recent crimes against women and children in the state, which he said violate international law, and called for the United Nations to intervene in addressing these issues.
Tampak kundar miyoi singu protection to wagi muhurta singi mi tampak menakta kundawa singu protection to unen maru responsibility logo to we jangan da baita whereas sing di kumthara tampak te kap of ya hana sunwa si tasena lakshi lagi haibagi intention or willpower ude. If at all there is a hidden agenda, young official of them. Like we Manipur the Horiba Ninka Tamba has never giala was Bangal to take never make the fruit young and to the K, Mating Hatke, Yolo sing losing you have nothing like a if at all, the government of India to be hidden agenda down there, anybody, seems so little, seems to get Mating Kumpan lives similar to the way Mamoya. It's not a question of a little machine or the active friend heavily, Yada layer.
Now it's time for a small commercial break. After the break, we bring you news on 30 civil bodies, including IPSA, KSA, CLK, Pandam and Kangla Mai, demanding 50 MLAs, including Chief Minister Nongthombam Biren, to resign at the soonest. We'll be back with details after the break. Until then, keep watching Impact News.
Mobile furniture na lagliba wedding season asigi anau contemporary wedding set furniture sing puduna lakchari loina na Manipur de ihan han bo oina wedding set laibi ba matamda 24 karat ki 5 gram ki gold coin free gift oina bizari mayam lengsin biraktuna mobile furniture ki 3rd edition the great wedding sales gold offer asi pre booking to biduna khudong jaba silobi ho
offer asi akupa information khambina bagi damakta sangai pro da laiba mobile furniture la lengsin biro
Ningol Chakoba amasung Diwali na lakpada, Majo Habki Maikidagi offer chow ni pizari. Refrigerator, washing machine, smart TV amasung smartphone su brand makal sunat hamjeri up to 60% discount ta phangbigan. Glassware dagi horaga, rice cooker, air fryer na ching production brand makal loina sunat hamjeri. Kay sampat konjeng hajari lekai Thawbal aduga Manipur da tanatana Guwahati da su akhagi brand hamdun leisare. Ngasi maglingsun birau Majo Hub.
Welcome back. After the break, you're watching Primetime English Bulletin, and moving on with our bulletin. 13 civil bodies like IPSA, KSA, CLK, Pandam and Kangla Mai demanded resignation of 50 MLAs, including Chief Minister Nongthombam Biren, at the soonest and join the people in safeguarding the community and the state. Speaking to media at IPSA office in Kaisampat today, spokesperson of the 13 civil society organizations, Nahakpam Santa, said that the 13 bodies had urged government to prompt and effective action for safe rescue of the 6 civilians, including 3 minors from Jodhpur district who were abducted by Kuki militants. But sadly, they were not saved. Santa demanded resignation of office bearers of national parties in Manipur and joined the mass movement. He revealed that under the Kokomi, the 13 civil bodies will agitate starting today.
Hairiba matamsi prajamiyam na piring aisida lairiba kuki ge MLA tarasi thadoga akhoi Manipur da hojik lairiba MLA yankhai sidi miyamga manaraga chatminnaba yanaba resign tobiro hairiba potsida honorable chief minister su yauna resign tobuse tangai phadabra haibase akhoi lup tarawum doigi wakhaloni kendra khudingi miyamgi oiba pham pairiba singdugi MLA singduna miyamgi oiba CSO singapurna club singapurna mifam kobiraga miyamgi apamadu understand tobirakanda maduda rajniti da khongdabiu madudi natadana national political party miyamgi agenda da chalaga delhi na tobdo khoina sum yaka yenga leibda tha nipan dangai ba anga masu yauna akhoi sumaina tamthiba mongda hatoga akhoina kaim tawngam dawse akhoi gi khunai sigi achoba laibak thiba history da yam sang na iduna lehuraga daba asumba tanja amani.
Federation of Civil Society Organizations Manipur and allied 13 civil bodies said prevailing crisis in Manipur will not be resolved until the 10 Kuki MLAs along with ITLF, KOTU and other like-minded Kuki bodies are declared as terrorists by state and central government and punished. Speaking to media at Fox office in Kakwa, Borimakhong, Imphal, Fox President T.H. Manihar demanded governments to declare 10 Kuki MLAs, ITLF and KOTU as terrorists. He highlighted their key involvement in war against the Meitei community, challenging Manipur's integrity. Manihar also demanded the remaining 50 MLAs to announce their decisions on the crisis within 24 hours. He cautioned that people will launch intense agitation if the 50 MLAs fail to do so. He stressed on the implementation of NRC in Manipur to deport illegal Kuki Chindzo people from the state and also demanded the union government to take action against all the Kuki militants who are involved in cold-blooded murder of 6 hostages. Manihar demanded all the political parties to immediately stop membership enrollment drive.
Irang asigi lusingiba leader oiriba advisor oiriba finance oiriba foreign ga contact oiriba sigumlaba Manipur gi Kuki MLA tarase terrorist ne hana lautho aganda tongan ba leiriba action tarukanda makoi jingse phar kanda India gi custody da thamakanda makoi ji work targadi asi makoi tawra habaduma thamjage ngasi sukluraba leiba asi kaiba ga samana leiraba asigi su mathakta Kuki na chatharaiba mihan mipun asigi mathakta tang 13 da mo armed forces special power in 1958 thamjalaktana akhoi singase hena ot pa yana na ba Bayanaba, Akwiki Kunapasing, Latana Bona, Bakutimase, Labak Miamna, Puna Tinamina from the Tamjabaga Loina, Kuki Tinanabagina Makta, Nasi Manipuda Lariba, so Budagina Apik Pasia so, I am singing say, Punjana Bahona.
All Manipur Muslim Organizations Coordinating Committee took out protests at the Komidog Haikurumakhong Bazaar in Imphal district today against the abduction and killing of innocent women and children. Committee President S.M. Jalal urged all to protest against the same.
Angang singi mayok to toba crime ni malem ya dugumba lairiba angang singi ain malem ya dugumba lairiba nupi singi ain bharat ki oina lairiba ain pura maksi khungo ina raga miyoiba jati gi mathak to toba crime ni haina Manipur ge pangan khunai na lowe lepa ki apun ba integrity kanna ba yo kalonda Manipur pangan khunai na ngasidi yom da leiba ge matam natre khoi street ta thorak ko matam oire haina khoi na lojaba ga loina na akhoi solidarity protest peace purana na ba ge protest Manipuri khunai na hinna hinta na raga referee khong gum na lairiba silent spectator oiriba bharat ki adumba lenga pa luching basing gi mana kongda khudom bi thinna bagi adumba wakhalonda pangan khunai gi leiriba phungam khoding makta ngasi dagi hauraga akoi protest over haure.
Teachers and students of Morning Bell Kids Foundation Khangabok Part 2 Maishnam Lekai protest the brutal murder of 6 civilians, including children, by armed Kuki militants. Teachers and students staged agitation in front of the school entrance gate. They display placard with "Save Child and Civilians" and in condemnation of the government. Separate press note from Old Manipur Nupi Marub and Core Committee on Relief and Rehabilitation to Manipur Valley condemns the abduction and killing of 3 children and 3 women from a family in Judiban, allegedly by Kuki militants. The committee calls the act as barbaric, cowardly and gross violence of human rights and call for an immediate end to violence. Clubs, Mairapaibi groups and people in the places located under the jurisdiction of Lamlai Police Station state sit-in over re-imposition of Armed Forces Special Powers Act in areas under 6 police stations including Lamlai Police Station. Sit-in protest was held at Napet Pali, Nongda, Sabungkok, Yaingangpokpi, Lamlai, Yuremband, Sawombung Gate and Tejpur today. Speaking on the agitation, the women protesters expressed condemnation over re-imposition of Armed Forces Special Powers Act in areas under 6 police stations by central government. They demanded state and central government to take action against all the Kuki militants who are involved in abduction of 6 civilians. Irate protesters also blocked the road in Yangangpokpi area. Kendra village volunteers force questioned the re-imposition of Armed Forces Special Powers Act, AFSPA, in the areas of jurisdiction of 6 police stations including Lamlai Police Station as disturbed area, asking if there is a hidden agenda in the center's new move. Speaking to media at a press conference held at LKVVF office, Commander-in-Chief Yumkhaibam Boshin commented that the move for re-imposition of Armed Forces Special Powers Act is highly condemnable and is unwarranted. He added that the state government is remaining silent in center's policy and demanded a proper clarification for their continued silence. LKVV also stated that its volunteers and members will give full coordination and support to movements for safeguarding the territorial integrity of the state from external elements, and also urge the public to extend support to village defense volunteers who are keeping watch and protecting the people in peripheral and remote areas.
AFSPA labor jaga sidana lairiba central force ayam amba hangda
yeah, no problem.
No mai kapsal lakpada AFSPA labor mafam sida karimata central force sina khutlandaba akoi imphal scheme manung chanba lamlai kendra da leiba lamlai police station da AFSPA thamjalapagi maram chadaba adi Manipur gi station tarukta thamjalapa sisu akoi masi yamna condemn tawi aduga Manipur gi leiba civil society mayamna changjalapa khongjang da su LKBB na atugi matik thawa yamna sagwachagani aduga akoi lamlai kendra da leiba lupuna mak anadagi saminduna lakpa lup khuding maksu punna chatminaraga sojok piminaduna iramdam kangai pa asibu kanbada akoi achoba thaudang lawmina.
And we have a very important news coming up right now. Let me read it out. Coordinating Committee on Manipur Integrity, COCOMI, has initiated and intensified protests starting today, citing the worsening crisis in Manipur. The committee strongly condemned the atrocities committed against women and children and announced a boycott of all central offices in the state, effective immediately. COCOMI clarifies that educational institutions and health services will remain exempted from the protest to avoid disruption to essential services. Among its key demands, the committee called for a military crackdown on Kuki militants, accusing them of perpetuating violence. It also demanded the withdrawal of the reimposed Armed Forces Special Powers Act AFSPA in Manipur. The committee warns of escalating its agitation if the authorities fail to take prompt action to address the ongoing turmoil.
Koi Manipur da daktagi haurakanda India government gi maruoiba loisang sing punamak central office punamak matam kaktana koi athingba thamjanjare academy institution amadi health kamari lenaba essential service natana India government kamari lenaba thok thorong kudimak kudaktagi athingba thamjanjare maduda natana koi Manipur gi hujik lairiba lengak paibda amadi lenga asigi saruk ama oiriba MLA kudimakna athubada pungpun mari gi manungda makoi punjalakanda chin Kuki narco terrorist group sing suspension of operation da lairiba armed militant Kuki militant group mayam asigi mathakta Kun Mari Manungda, military crackdown ama tawrakanda makhoi si Manipur gi laimai dagi takthok nananabagi akanba thabak se paikhatpa ngamda taragadi Manipur miyamna makhoi mathakta akanba khongjang kya ama changjan nananabagi hairiba civil protest asi hanbal leitana khoi changjan nananaba sem sajare.
Proscribed Revolutionary People's Front RPF claims that several personnel of Indian Armed Force sustained injuries in an attack which was carried out by their armed wing, People's Liberation Army (PLA), in a press note which is signed by RPF Assistant Publicity Secretary Bankim. The outlawed organization said the PLA had carried out the attack last morning at a location which is situated in between Yangopok and Militant near Kamjong district. Through the press note, RPF also informed that as para commandos were reinforced in the area, a second encounter broke out last evening. RPF said some para commandos might have injured in the encounter. RPF reaffirmed that PLA will strive for the freedom of Manipur. The outfit also urged people for support. Directorate of Information and Public Relations Manipur observed National Press Day 2024 at its premises in Nityaipat Juthek, Imphal. The event was held under the theme Changing Nature of Press at DIPR Conference Hall. Addressing the event, IPR Commissioner M. Joy said National Press Day is observed commemorating the establishment of Press Council of India on this day of 1966, and it is a very important day for the media fraternity. Joy added the day highlights the ethics of journalism and the press role in the society. He appealed for publication of only authenticated news reports without any biasness. During the event, State Journalist Award given by DIPR was handed over to 8 journalists. The awardees are Moirangthem Khagemba, Laishram Kamaljit, Maibam Kennedy, Kangembam Rabi Kumar and Robinson Wahengbam, who are reporters of Sanalaibak newspaper. Sangai Express newspaper reporter Sapam Aruna, senior reporter of Poknafam newspaper Thongam Premchand, and Sanalaibak newspaper chief editor Ningombam Hemant Kumar were also conferred with the State Journalist Award. Manipur Hills Journalist Union President Peter Adani was also conferred with special recognition. The event also highlighted a workshop on changing nature of press, wherein Imphal Review of Arts and Politics editor Pradeep Fanjobam participated as moderator. Assam Tribune correspondent Sobhapati Samond and the senior journalist Salam Rajesh took part as resource persons in the workshop.
Sarkar sida ekoi wai phungdok pangam rasu ibana sarkar sida karimba sigaidi soire sigaidi lale sigaidi tahonni haibagi adugumba influential ya oiba adugumba tullamo oibadina ekoi ya themba phongna bonagada koi journalist sing ko reporter sing mayam punamagna togum tengama ekoi leba ko pambiu adu madakta democracy de fight for pillar da chowa pillar mo adugis madakta IPR department university backbone hoisi koi staff khattanati staff sinasina ekoi thabak sujawe wani press na ekoi department asigi backbone department asigi magi assignment mayam si putnabo kono press ki aso thudang.
Teachers and students of G4 School Hairok conducted mass cleanliness drive in places which are located under Hairok Path 2 Bazaar Municipal Council. During the drive, the students and teachers removed muds and earth pieces from the road that were dropped by farm vehicles. Now the sports news. In the ongoing 78th Santosh Trophy, Karnataka and Tripura registered victories in their respective matches. The matches are being held across 2 venues, RDT Stadium in Andhra Pradesh and Umakanta Mini Stadium in Tripura. Karnataka dominated the game at the RDT Stadium, thrashing Andhra Pradesh 5-0 today. In a match held at Umakanta Mini Stadium, Tripura outclassed Mizoram with a 4-1 victory. Manipur's next match will be against Mizoram tomorrow. In the Group D standing. Both Manipur and Tripura currently shared the top 2 spots with 3 points each, holding first and second position respectively. Well, that's all we have in this bulletin, but before we wind up, let's take a glimpse at the headlines once again. Bodies of women and children found days after they were kidnapped by armed Kuki assailants. A body deposited at Silchar Medical College and Hospital in Assam for post-mortem. Irate people stormed residences of several MLAs and ministers, vandalizing and setting fire to their properties, condemning failure to rescue 6 women and children abducted by armed militants. Abduction and killing of innocent women and children by armed militants in Jutiban sparked widespread protests across Manipur. Protesters block road, women vendors ceased work and take out protests. Curfew imposed until further notice and internet ban for at least 2 days in most districts of Manipur amidst escalating violence. Armed Kuki assailants launched fresh bomb and bullet attacks on the Meitei villages of Uyok and Irengbam in Laimaram from the Tingkai Kuno in Laimaram Hill Range. No report of any casualties. And Directorate of Information and Public Relations DIPR Manipur observed National Press Day 2024. 8 journalists received State Journalist Award 2024. Thank you so much for being with us. Coming up next is Prime Time Manipur Bulletin. In the meantime, have a great evening and always stay safe.
Mapam Zakauba Yetuk Jare, Aikoigi Ishu Nupi, Wangkem Kiran Mala Devi Amadi, Wangkai Mayum.